Now, looking toward the 2024 election, I want to talk about President Trump and his messaging for GOP Black male voters. So what do you think how has he been able to win over the support of Black voters, especially? I believe in 2020, he had about 8% of the Black vote, about 12% or more of the Black male vote. So,
actually, 2020, it was 18.7.
Okay.
Yeah,
18.7. So how do you think Trump has specifically been able to target the Black community, and what policies did he have in place during his presidency that you think benefited the Black community the most?
Well, I mean, look, the first thing is that he refocused the federal government on people being able to make money. Actually, what are the inputs into our country, starting with trade? What are the different policies that our agencies are putting out? Limiting regulations so capital can flow more freely. When you have a lot more capital flow in your economy, more people can take advantage of that. And so that's the number one thing that he did. Then he went and he did things with the First Step Act, looking at criminal justice reform, something that most Republicans would say, no, don't touch that. But he looked at it and said, you know what? Some of these things are wrong. We're going to fix it. We're going to modernize it. We're going to bring it into the year 2018 at the time.
Yeah.
That's what he did. President Trump is not afraid of looking at an issue and saying, no, we're changing that. Where historically, I'm going to be critical of my party. A lot of Republicans will look at something and say, oh, well, you know, I'm not sure how that polls. Maybe we can't touch that. He not thinking about that.
He does not care.
And that strength in leadership, that resonates with a segment of Black men. Because a segment of Black men look at that and they say, well, that's exactly what I thought. I'm glad he actually did it, as opposed to not being able to talk clearly about it or being afraid of what the media might say about it. Mm-hmm. That strength in leadership, that vision and directness in leadership is something that our country needs. And I think that's why you're seeing his numbers grow this time. To his messaging in this campaign, what I've seen directly from him, he's talking about all Americans.
Yeah.
He's not talking about Republicans. And of course, the hat, it says "Make America Great Again." He says MAGA, he says every now and again. But if you listen to what he's saying, everything is about the solutions for all Americans.
Right.
So everybody can thrive and succeed. He's not talking to just Republicans. He's not just talking to independents. He's not just talking to Democrats. When we were in the Bronx, I was with him. What he talked about on that stage was about people in the Bronx, people in New York City,
BCF.
rebuilding that city, getting ahead.
BCF.
That's right.
In South Carolina, yeah.
Get ahead. We're going to rebuild this thing so everybody can get ahead, so people can be successful. You got to understand, the man's made billions.
Yeah, he doesn't
have to do this.
He need to do this.
He could go chill. And Mar-a-Lago, which is worth more than $18 million, I promise you that, is way more than $18 million.
The chandeliers are worth that. Chandeliers are worth that, man.
Somebody go tell Letitia James she don't know how to count. But anyway, but he could do anything else he wants to do. But the man loves this country. He legitimately does. I think people understand that. They respect that, and they galvanize.
I want to piggyback on that too. You hit on everything domestic, but also from an international standpoint. We had world peace. Mm-hmm. You know that? Yeah. We had world peace. Yeah. He is the first Republican president that said, I am going to move the embassy to Jerusalem in Israel, and he did, and the world respected it. Iran was broke, so they were not on path to have a nuclear weapon and be a nuclear power to harm the world. Mm-hmm. Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin were terrified of this man because he was strong. And that strength is something that we can resonate to, especially being men that are raising our families. No, I want a strong alpha that's going to keep the world in line. And that's what we had for 4 years. People were complaining about mean tweets, not complaining about World War III.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And I do have to ask, last week, Trump was convicted. And so how do you think that Trump's conviction and guilty verdict will impact his perception among voters? Are you scared that could hurt his chances in swing states especially?
He raised $200 million in 72
That $200 million shows me that people are like, yeah, that's stupid. We're with you.
We have not seen that in the history of this country. I got 200 million reasons why that's not going to work. If he were not running for president, this would not be happening, period. And I think anybody can admit that. This is happening to him because he is choosing to step into the fray and stick up for all of us, and he's willing to take all the arrows. And let me tell you something, he's not built like most people. No. We spent time with him. He is not built like most people. You ask him, how are you deal with this? He's like, I have a good life, Wesley. I'm going to play golf tomorrow morning. You know why? Because he's doing this for his children. He's doing this for his grandchildren. He knows that if it's not him, this country's gone. Yeah. And we appreciate him for doing this.
Yeah. So we spent a bit of time talking about